What's up, y'all? Today I'm going to be comparing Zay Flowers and Josh Downs, two guys that people have been talking about a lot this year. They're both primarily slot receivers. They're both about 5'10", 175. I think Zay Flowers is a little bit closer to 5'9", 170. I think Josh Downs is just like a little bit bigger. But regardless, they're both kind of the same type of player in a lot of people's minds. And there's been a lot of debate about who's better. You could even throw Jordan Addison into that conversation. But today I'm going to be taking 3 clips from Zay Flowers, 3 clips from Josh Downs. I'm going to be breaking them down at the end. I'm going to give who I personally would prefer if I were an NFL GM. So yeah, let's just get into it. So this first clip, I've been seeing a lot of people post this online and say that this is an example of Zay Flowers like great route running. Like this is like a great route. By Zay Flowers here because he got the safety turned around, and I understand where people are coming from and why they would think that, because they think he's gonna run. It's called a corner post here. He's basically gonna come up here, take 3 steps to the corner, and then shoot it to a post. Basically, what people are thinking is that this is like him, like giving a good like a move, but this is a designed move at the top of the break. This isn't him being like creative and giving like a rocker step at the top of the break to get leverage and burning the DB. What this looks like to me is Boston College runs a lot of smash. So basically what that is it's a cover 2 beater. So the one receiver is going to run a hitch and the slot receiver is going to run a corner. In basic cover 2, the corner would be here and the safety would be in this deep half, and the pocket over here would be open for the corner. So Boston College runs this a lot against 2 high safeties. So what it looks like Louisville is trying to do is run a variation of cover 7 mod to counter this, which basically what that means, I'm not going to go into a super in-depth explanation of how cover 7 works, because that could be a whole video series in and of itself. But basically what that means, it's a man match coverage. So basically, if this receiver gets farther than 5 yards, he becomes this man's responsibility. However, if this receiver runs a hitch, he now becomes this apex defender's responsibility. This defender right here has this, and the safety in the corner essentially turn into quarters at that point. So if he runs a hitch right here, this corner should be dropping back into a quarter. This safety should be dropping back into a quarter. What happens is it looks like this corner misplays this and breaks on this hitch instead of dropping into his corner, leaving this safety to have the entire deep field by himself. And I think what happens is he's kind of stranded at this point, and he just has to jump the corner, just assuming that it's smash because this corner misplayed the route and misplayed the assignment. So this safety kind of just like does his best to try to make up for the mistake, and unfortunately it just ends up being a corner post, and he just has nothing to do. Basically, I'll just let it play.
Blitz up the middle, picked up. Dracovic has Zay. Got him.
Oh, my.
It's a foot race to the pylon, and Zay's going to win it.
So I can understand why people would think that was like, a great route by Zay Flowers, because they think that he's like giving a creative move. But there's a very distinct difference between a receiver like being creative and giving like a very creative like improvised move at the top of the break, which is what we want to see, versus like they're just running the route that was drawn up on paper and it happened to be a double move. Now there is value in them running double moves efficiently. I'm not saying that there's not, but this is a clip of Justin Jefferson. This is what it looks like when you run like a creative move at the top of the break. This is called a rocker step. I'll just let it play. So this is what I think people are confusing it with. So basically what this is instead of you're not coming up and then taking 3 steps and then just breaking, you are coming up, selling with your entire body in the way that you're breaking, then coming back, selling with your entire body or your entire upper body, heads, shoulders, hips in the opposite direction, and then breaking it off. And this creates, this is just a great, like, Justin Jefferson is just great. Also just great catch, but that has nothing to do with it. But that's what I want to see. That's what I don't see a whole lot with Zay Flowers is he doesn't sell with his whole upper body. He's not a very refined technical route runner. And that's something that I personally would really like to see more out of a guy that's, you know, as small as he is. I think to create separation consistently at the next level, if you're a smaller guy, you need to be a very good route runner. But anyways, let's go to the next clip. So here, this is the type of play right here that I think make people fall in love with Zay Flowers. I mean, he's just going to let it play. He's just going to take a screen, reverse field, get all the way back across to the other side of the field, and he's just going to take this thing to the crib. I mean, he's very explosive with the ball in his hands. He's got very natural vision. He's got good vision. He's instinctive, and he knows how to make people miss. If you get the ball in this guy's hands in the open field, I mean, you know, you're in business at that point. He's very, very good with the ball in his hands. I think, you know, even in the NFL, I think he's going to be very good. You know, if you can get the ball in his hands and crossers, screens, you know, stuff like that, anything that you can do to manufacture touches for him and get the ball in his hands in open fields, good things are going to happen. And this is just, not a whole lot of separation here, but this is a great catch. Like, that's, especially for a smaller guy, you love to see that. He's just gonna be running a post double. He's gonna be double covered. Great concentration here. Defender all over him. Another defender trailing his hip. Gonna go over this man. Literally catch the ball, both hands on his helmet. I mean, not a whole lot not to like about that. Take it to the house, young man. I love that. Absolutely love that. All right, now let's get into Josh Downs a little bit. He's going to be up the top of the screen here. He's going to be running what's called a whip route. He's going to basically come in, take a step into a slant, and then put his foot in the ground, break that off to the outside. Stephon Diggs is really good at this. He runs this a lot in the red zone. So let's just let this play. Now, what I really like here, let's just get a better angle on this. What I really like here is you see here he gets very low. He drops his hips violently, puts his foot in the ground. It's called his trigger step. He drops his hips violently, takes his head all the way down to his knees, sits his butt in that chair. That's how you stop on a dime and you get explosively out of that break. Now, I think he probably could have taken one more step here and sold the slant a little bit harder, but regardless, clearly, you know, he got the job done. Could have been a little bit better, though. That's just me being kind of nitpicky, but God, is this a bad throw. This is a horrible. They could have put me out there, and I would have thrown a touchdown here. Like, wow. Great route, though. All right, now this next clip, he's going to be running a post at the top of the screen here. If I have any fellow Patriots fans watching this, I'm sure I do, because Patriots fans love them some Zay Flowers. You're going to know what I mean here, probably. This play gives me shades of, like, Mac Jones to Kendrick Bourne. I'll just let it play. Right in between two defenders, go up and get it with both hands, maintain possession through contact, touchdown. Not a whole lot to not like about that. I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. There's not like a whole lot of analysis, but that's just like, I just wanted to show that because it's just a great play. Great high point the ball, both hands, through contact, through two defenders, great concentration. That's just an overall great play. Nothing to not like about it. Okay, now this next play, I was saying earlier how Zay Flowers, I'd like to see him sell with his upper body on his routes more. This is kind of what I was talking about. Josh Downs is going to be the slot up here at the top of the screen. He's going to be running it in. And just let this play. Now notice how when he breaks this thing off, he's selling with his whole upper body. Look at his body language here. Let's see if I can get a good frame. See how his head, shoulders, hips, everything about this says fade, and now the DB is off platform. He's got his back turned to the middle of the field. This is what we want. We want to be able to come across his face, get a free release to the inside, and, you know, nothing to not like about this. This is a great route, and then at the end here, I mean, quarterback gets hit throwing it, turns a broken play, and takes that thing into the crib. Breaks two tackles, dives in between two defenders. Touchdown, baby. Nothing to not like about that. So overall, taking everything into account, Zay Flowers, great with the ball in his hands, great in space. I think he has good ball tracking, and he's just a very explosive player overall once he gets into space. Josh Downs, much more refined route runner. I think he's got a higher IQ when it comes to attacking DB's leverages and, creating for himself when it isn't necessarily an ideal situation for him. If I were a NFL GM, I think they're both good players. If I were an NFL GM, I think I would prefer Josh Downs, and I don't think it would be that close either. Only because I do think, like I said, I think Zay Flowers is going to be a good player, but I think you're going to have to manufacture touches for him and kind of scheme him open to get the ball in his hands in the open field so he can really excel, because that's where he shines, is when he has the ball in his hands in the open field. But the difficulty is going to be getting him the ball in the open field on a regular basis, whereas Josh Downs, I see him having the potential to be more of a high volume guy. He's a better route runner, and I think he could really be, a very consistent, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 5, short yardage kind of guy. That you could, potentially throw the ball to 10 times a game. I don't really see Zay Flowers doing that. I see him being more of like a gadget kind of, utility kind of guy. Which is also great, but if you're taking a guy, first round, end of the first, high second, you really want that high ceiling, and I think Josh Downs probably has the higher ceiling of the two. So, anyways, that's my breakdown. Zay Flowers versus Josh Downs. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.